Hello, folks. Once again, one more week. I hope you're following us closely. This time, I have the pleasure this today the pleasure to invite someone who is already known by the SNKPI community. I mean, Lukasz, right? Lukasz Gornicki. But before I let him get into stage, let's let's leave him there waiting in the left side of Restream. I think it's cool. You cannot see him, but he's there like. and so I would love to give you a few messages before we start. So first of all is so there's no script, so we're gonna have a live chat here and just think about it, think out loud about a topic. Today the topic is going to be about building communities and growing communities and improving the health of the community, and especially the ASIN KPI one, as you can imagine. But some things may apply to other community as well. Also, I don't want you to forget. So we have in YouTube, you can find an option to enable closed captions. So we made sure that you can enable them. I hope we did right this time. We had lots of troubles today with time zones and so on. So yeah. So I hope it's working. If not, let me know. And yeah, that's it. And also, we'll love to reinforce that point, like during the conversation. So this is not just Lucas and I. Uh, to keep things simple, let's say only Lucas and I are on stage. Will be on stage today, but please participate on chat, and we always read the questions or the comments or the thoughts that you leave there, and we make sure they're heard, and also they're visible on screen all the time. So yeah, so feel free to leave your thoughts there. Yeah. So Jonas is telling me that subtitles are not available. Of course not, Jonas. Like we always have. Today it's a grown day for for us. So I'm sorry for that. I don't think we can change it live once the live stream has started. So yeah. Thanks, Jesse, for the nice hat compliment. Let me invite Lucas into stage. Uh, Here we go. Hey. So how you do? How do we do it? Is it like this? We have to talk like this, right? Make it more
All right.
real, maybe. Yeah, something.
Hi, Fran.
So,
How you doing?
hey, I can do it like this.
Or I can do Will Smith.
Will Smith style. that will be that will be too much. No. So yeah. I always tell the guest to introduce themselves. I guess you don't need introduction, but there may be a case that someone who's watching still doesn't know you. So please introduce yourself, maybe.
Hello, my name is Lukasz. I live in Poland, in a village, so my internet sucks. I'm a village man, and I work for Postman, but basically to work on Async API. And before that, I was working with different roles like technical writer, developer, product owner, community manager part-time, and so many different roles in SAP. So a big giant. And then I got sucked into open source and got in love with Async API and decided to work here full time since 2 years, trying to scale the community, build the community around Async API using different ways of building the community. And I'm a I guess I can say that at the moment I'm mainly community manager. If you have to have some name for my position, but yeah.
I do have a name for, and you do have a name for that position.
Yeah, it was changing over time, but now I think I'm in the blog post. I'm saying I'm community guardian.
Yeah,
Yeah, because at the beginning I think I had
sword.
devcom guard or something like, or whatever. But yeah, who cares about these names? It's all about what you do, not how you're called.
I agree. So, well, for those who don't know, he didn't say anything because he is, humble and will not ever say that. But yeah, people know me because I'm the creator of Facing KPI. But Lukasz is actually the creator of this big community, let's say. So once I started the project, I created a community around it, but it was not like an active community, so it wasn't like very active. There wasn't many people interacting with each other, and then I hired Lukasz um, to join me, and at some point, because of the things he started doing in this community, it all blew up. So and this is and until nowadays, right? So what you see now is mostly his work. So yeah. So thanks for that, by the way. Thanks for that.
I think you're exaggerating, but yeah, thank you.
Uh, I'm not. I'm not doing any community work at all, or almost no community work since then. So it's all what you're doing. You're too humble. So now, mandatory question. Since I was mentioning this, is how are you doing it? What did you do? How did you build the community? How did you create or grew the community?
The
I know.
different question.
How did you grow the community?
Yeah, I
Did you?
love this kind of questions. You could ask it like 2 weeks ago, so I have time to prepare the answer.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Um,
I don't want you. I want you to think out loud, not to become come here prepared.
um, before joining Async API, I was doing some community work for one of the open source projects we were building at SAP. And during that period, I think it was one and a half or 1 year, or maybe more. But yeah, anyway, I was pretty fresh with the topic, and I was basing a lot of assumptions from what I've learned from CNCF Foundation and basically Kubernetes community, because we were building product that was close to Kubernetes. So for us, we even wanted to join CNCF. So for us, it was like easy, like mimic everything they do, and it should be fine. And then at Async API, I knew it's not gonna be the same, like because it's different. So I think that my and not sure how others usually approach something that do they didn't do before, and they have to start something from scratch. So I basically I took it from my perspective. I came in from a corporation with multi-level, uh, not marketing, multi-level structure, with many product managers on the way and different roles, different politics, etc., etc. So I was always looking on open source as a like like when you take a holidays from work, like you go into a safe place where you basically don't have anything that you could say, damn it, it's like in my company. So I think that unconsciously that's what I was doing first. So like making sure that whatever I don't like in my daily job, I'm gonna fix it here. Um, so yeah, that's why everything I wanted to have as transparent as possible. Open discussions, no rush, slow, no scrum, no
I was going to mention that.
no such things. And basically like the biggest pain with work for on a product in a big company, but I guess on startup the same, is like time pressure.
Mm.
So yeah, I wanted to make sure that we can, as a community, take advantage of this, like just no pressure. Like it's better if we do something longer and then discuss. And so that's why I was always pushing for these different ways how we can make things open as possible, as friendly as possible, as welcoming as possible. And I did not expect it's gonna work. So I just, damn it! It sounds like I was just doing things to fix my life, not 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 to scale the community.
But
But
pretty much, but because your life at the time was the life of many of us, like we were facing the same things in different companies, like this tight schedules, like deadlines, uh, Scrum, this crazy speed that you have to always have, like you delivering quickly, as quick as possible. Um, you have to deliver value as quick as possible, and it's it's chaotic. It's somehow like at some point um, you get like, how can I say, like immersed into this fast mood, right? Like everything should be fast, and you don't have time to think things well, and yeah, like it's really counterproductive for a long term project or for a research, if you want, if you because in the end what we're doing here is research, so research and development, of course, as well, but so so yeah, it's not cannot be treated as a product, at least not entirely, right? So yeah, and I remember when he joined, by the way, um, um, one of the first things that I started doing is, there's a lot of things to do. There are lots of things to do. We need to uh, get somehow this thing sorted out. So I started suggesting that we started doing like some kind of practices that started looking like Scrum. And I remember Luka's reaction, like, uh, like, do we really need to do this? Like, really, it's too much. And I was like, yeah, it's true. Like, this is exactly what I hated about my previous job. And I'm here. I have the the power to decide how we can do this, and I'm mimicking something that I don't like, right? And and that's going to affect others, not just us, but it's going to affect the result and how we treat community contributions, and how fast we we tell people they should be contributing, right? Because if they're not fast enough, um, they will miss the opportunity to contribute. Uh, and that's what happens when you live in a village in Poland. Basically, you lose your connectivity, and yeah, basically you get out of the call. But what I was saying is, in the meantime, he comes back. Um, what I was saying is that precisely this kind of rush, right? It's is sometimes counterproductive. Like for products, um, it might or might not make sense. Who knows? Um, I still think there are other ways to do it. And hey, I was actually mentioning that this is what happens when you live in a village in Poland.
Yeah,
So
I warned you at the beginning.
yeah, exactly. And was saying that Scrum is often, or it's often seen as the default or go-to way to manage product development in companies. But in this case, we we had something clear, let's say, which is we didn't want to build only a product or tools or a spec, right? It was more about the community, right? So something so before I'm having too many thoughts right now in my head, and before I go too far with these thoughts, and I derail, right? Um, there's something that I mentioned before, and it's the speed, right? The speed of contributions and the speed of our contributions as well. Um, so if we're too fast, we'll leave people out, right? And that's something that that's something that we realize after some time. Like in the beginning, we were like still influenced by this mood, let's say, or way of working, which is um, like deliver, 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 deliver as quick as possible. Because the best we are, the best the best the product is, the more people will want to use async API. And by product I mean, like everything we do, like the spec, the tools, and everything, right? So the best it is, the more developed it is, the more people will want to use it, right? But it has a problem, and I'm telling you, Lucas, but I'm telling actually the people listening to us. And the problem, which was pointed out by Lucas at the time, was that if we rush that much, we're leaving people out. And it's like people are not working full time in async API like we are. So if you only have a few spare hours per week to work on, and not every week to work on async API, you you can't be contributing super fast, or you don't want to be developing things super fast, because then they will be, whenever they connect again, they will be like, damn it, like what happened here, right? They get lost, and it basically sends the message to these people like, don't contribute because you don't have time, right? So I'm not sure you want to add something there.
No, like, so I mean, it's clearly visible now, like after, because when we started doing it, we didn't know how it's gonna work, but now after months, several months, we like see, like, especially this year, we're getting so many people contributing to tools, and like we would never do it with the core maintainers only. With, I mean, core maintainers, people that work full time
Yeah.
on the project. Um, but yeah, like basically by slowing down, enabling others to also come to the project and contribute, that was super important. But still, we can rush. Like, if there, like, rush depends how you define rush, but I mean, still, if there's some super important change that has to be done in some library, like let's say parser, we have this JavaScript parser where we want to refactor everything, wait for very long. And in some particular cases, I still think it's okay if we rush in a way that we just don't wait too long, but just exchange PR reviews between maintainers,
Mhm.
and we basically merge faster and release faster, because at the end it's for the good of the community, to do it, especially in case of big refactoring or rewrite of the API. Um, a contributor that just contributes from time to time will anyway not jump in
Yeah.
and not help much. So yeah, again, it's not black and white. It's not just be always slow,
Yeah.
but mainly like in majority of cases, like just don't rush. Like it's like in real life, like you do something, you think it's important, but then you go for holidays and for 2 weeks, and you do it 2 weeks later, and all of a sudden you notice like, if I would do it 2 weeks earlier, nothing would change. So it could wait 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes PR can wait for, like, issue can wait for 20 days. Like, it's completely fine if you're not in rush and you want to have as many people as possible sharing opinion.
What other cases you think? Now you made me think. Like, what other cases you think, other than refactoring, will make sense to speed up a little bit? In which other cases?
I mean, there was this case with React Component, right? When Maciej joined the project and he started the whole preparation of the component to have it ready for the studio.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he also like rushed. It was his main focus. So basically, he wanted to have PRs sometimes like merged in 2 days, so quick review. Like, you basically, if you jump into the project once a week, you don't have time to actually see the PR. And I know particularly one contributor that was contributing to React Component from time to time, and he even wrote to me like I can't catch up with Maciej, like, speed. But yeah, but again, like, there was like super important goal, like, and the component had to be really refactored a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like case with parser, like, if you really have a lot of reworking and you need to have in-depth knowledge of the component, then sometimes it's just a work for the maintainer, and contributors can just learn from it, like go into PR, help with the review if they have time. Because especially if we are in rush, then it's not just one PR, it's several PRs.
Yeah.
So like, you basically, instead of being an active contributor, you're just learning from the PRs to contribute later. So yeah, I mean, basically, like, the rule should be do it slow, but if something is super important for the community to enable some new tool or something,
Yeah.
and then it's okay if maintainers are faster.
Yeah. I was actually thinking, I was asking this because I was thinking um, that I myself, like, sometimes feel like we're too slow in some, but on purpose. I know it's on purpose, but we're too slow in some areas that might not. We should probably not be so slow. Like, for instance, the CLI. So I think the CLI. So the fact that it's taking more time to migrate everything to a single CLI where you can rule them all, right? Um, it's actually making us work more as a community, right? Because the more time we have to maintain multiple CLIs, the worst, right? The same happened with HTML template and React component. We had the two, and they were almost similar, but they were two code bases. So yeah. So here it's even worse because there are multiple CLIs spread across many tools, right? And so I was like, I think maybe the CLI, like, we shouldn't be waiting so much for uh, to develop it further, right? Like, we should probably put in more effort into releasing version one, say, whatever it means, um, of the CLI. So as soon as possible, users can have a single um, entry point to the spec and to the tools, right? So to the initiative. Like, so now I have my CLI here. I can do everything from here, and then from there on, okay, things might have to wait. Like, I don't know, a code generator is not good enough here and there. Like, for instance, it's not implementing um, the Kafka protocol, for instance. It's not supporting the Kafka protocol. Cool. People will have to contribute that to the code generator, to this specific code generator, or Glee doesn't support this or that, or Studio doesn't support this or that. Um, cool, but but specifically the CLI to me is one of the strategic um, tools for us, like CLI and Studio. Actually, probably more than CLI, but or both together, right? Like the use of both CLI and Studio to me are like strategic investments for the initiative in order to make life of our community easier. And I feel, not sure if you agree with me here, like that we slow there sometimes on Studio as well, like for on purpose, like we delay things or we leave issues there and leave the issues there open just in case someone want to take it. um, but we know these issues are important, right? I don't know, I have this feeling. Not sure what you think. Maybe it's just my
I think it's like it's all about the needs, right? So in case of CLI, the current generator CLI, it's stable. It hasn't changed in a
Mhm.
year. Converter CLI, it's just used like we invest time there only
From time to time, yeah.
from time to time, and at the end, we're not investing really in the CLI. We're just
Yeah.
investing in the library.
Mhm.
So that's why there's no rush on the CLI because maybe let's say it differently. So basically, if we would notice that there's a lot of contributions to these CLIs and they're changing, like people have ideas, people want to invest, then it would tell us, okay, like instead of doing double work, let's finally migrate.
Yeah.
But if there's no pressure, like we don't see double work, I think it's okay to wait a bit, like because like the CLI, this it was started I think last year around
Mhm.
March, April,
Probably, yeah.
by Jorge, and
Yeah.
then and I remember when I was thinking about CLI. So sometimes when you think about some tool, like you have an idea for a tool, and when I was thinking first, my first time about CLI that can integrate all the tools, I was thinking like that's the most important. Like we need to have it now. Like let's do it, let's do it, let's do it. After a few months, I just see like it's nothing bad will happen if we're gonna have it in few months.
Oh
Like
yeah, 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 yeah. Totally, yeah.
so, and the side effect, like look on the current CLI. Like if we would push it like we pushed it with React component, then of course we would have all the commands faster, like 6 months ago, let's say. But in exchange, we have maybe less. But CLI, it's one of my favorites project because like
I too.
almost every command has a different contributor.
Yeah.
It's of course we have to wait for some new command, even few months, because it's contributed by someone that doesn't have time to work full time. We also don't review daily, but still, I know we're slow there, but it's like
Yeah.
for me, it's one of the role models. I would always say, like, yeah, if you are patient, you just invested um, like let's say framework, so you prepared it for contributions.
Hmm.
Um, then like all suddenly contributions will come in, and in case of CLI, it's also not that complicated to contribute, so it's also nice for new contributors to join. So
Yeah.
yeah, we could rush, but for the good of the community, I
Mhm.
think it's better if we don't. Confusing.
I I have another perspective that I was thinking as you were speaking there. Um, could it be that so one of the things that you were mentioning is um, like if we don't get too many contributions to the other CLIs, then we shouldn't rush a lot on the one CLI because yeah, the other ones are stable and not getting a lot of contributions. But something that I've been facing while talking to different people about async API is most people are not aware of all the tools or most of the tools that are available for them to use. And I think the CLI can also serve as a discovery tool for them. At least not discovery of tools, but discovery of what you can do with an async API file, right? Which in long term or medium term, it will become a discovery tool for them as well. So I explain myself, for instance. So if I'm new to async API and I know about the code generator, for instance, and I've been using the CLI of the code generator, that's cool. But I don't get to know any other tool, just generator. That's all I get, right? And I'm happy. I'm happy with this, but I don't get to know what else I can do with async API file, and therefore, without thinking so much about it, I start assuming that async API is just for generating code or for generating docs, and that's it. That's all async API allows you to do, right? But if this same user starts from the CLI, from the one CLI, right? Um, one of and they start using the generate command to generate docs or code. One day, even the first day, they can just probably type async API dash help and find there are lots of commands and lots of things you can do. And driven by curiosity, you probably will just see what else is there, like what you can do with this. And because you see that you can not just generate code, but you can create um, a I don't know, a Glee project, right? So suddenly you find Glee, and it's like, oh, damn it, this is exactly what I needed, but I didn't know it existed. So the CLI can serve as a discovery tool as well, right? Um, so so what I mean here is that the CLIs of the other tools are stable, and we don't get too many PRs because they're fine as they are. Um, but that doesn't mean that we don't get a lot of users in these CLIs. And so all those users that we're getting in these other CLIs um, are not being introduced to the wider um, menu of tools that they have, right? Siloed into this CLI. So which makes me think at the same time, which is like, um, yeah, if we invest more in the CLI, um, it will get less contributors to the CLI, but maybe because we're driving everyone to the same single point of source of truth, let's say, the CLI, they will discover more tools and they will end up eventually contributing to more of these other tools. You know what I mean? Um, I'm thinking that maybe it's not just so probably could it be that we're just thinking that um, we're just counting the CLI contribution and we're missing what could be contributed to other tools just because people landed on a CLI, on a strong CLI, um, and they knew more about the rest of the tools. You know what I mean?
Did you ask a question? um,
Could it be that we are just stopping at people contributing to the CLI and counting them as the community, right? Like, oh, we like measuring. We're getting a lot of different people in the CLI. That's cool, right? But could it be that we're missing a more powerful community base if we had a strong CLI, and therefore through the CLI these people will land into generators, Glee, different code generators, um, I don't know, other tools, right? And therefore contributing to those. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So like, so basically, it could be
No,
answer.
no, that's
But so
yeah.
so what I meant by CLI and what I like in the CLI, I still like it. But the thing is, like, but you still have maintainers, like, right? So I don't mean that like maintainers should just basically jump into PR reviewers only and don't do
Mhm.
implementation. But that's what you have as a milestones, whatever planning goals 1-0. Like Sovic created this issue like 1-0 planning.
Yeah.
So that's this speed topic. So in parser, speed topic is TypeScript and and um,
Parser API.
and new parser API.
Yeah.
In React, speed topic was a studio, and it was completely fine to speed up. And in CLI, we also have to define this speed topic. So in case of this issue that we discussed 1-0, like so you basically must have for 1-0 is generator CLI,
Hmm.
because then it's gonna automatically
Yeah.
enable people that go into generator repo and they find an instruction async API CLI, then they start using async API CLI and do what you just said, like discover the tool. So yeah, with these topics, we should. Well, it's completely fine to rush. Like define the goals. If anyone from the like and define them openly. Like if anyone from the community wants to jump in, yeah, then do it. But we clearly say like that's the like we want to have as a maintainers. We want to have 1-0. We should rush. We're gonna review quicker, etc. But the other commands, I mean, like some Cupid, for example, it would be nice to have it enabled quickly, but yeah, it's again, it's all about like what community wants. Like if community thinks it would be super nice to have more commands faster, it's let's just adjust the plan.
So that takes me to another thought. So something that I've seen. I don't know if it's been this morning or yesterday afternoon. Um, Taylor Otwell, the maintainer, the creator of the Laravel framework, PHP frame, a very famous PHP framework, uh, posted a tweet, which made me think and laugh at the same time, which was something uh, like imagine giving access to your to-do list to the entire world, and uh, and then you feeling bad because you're not able to finish everything that is on the to-do list. That's GitHub issues. Right? And he was and then he continued after that saying like that if he were start if he were starting a new project, or he were if he were starting again, he will just um, disable GitHub issues completely and accept only PRs. And and the and he's just he was just saying this like you have other channels for issues. You have other channels. You have things like Slack, like Stack Overflow, people asking questions on Stack Overflow, right? um, but on GitHub you only accept PRs, because that filters out every non-important issue. Because if the person is not willing to contribute the fix or the feature, then it's not really important. So, and uh, and that fear that you will be losing important feedback is like not really. You eventually find it out, like on Slack, on Stack Overflow, or because someone, if it's important, someone will create a PR eventually. And that made me think, like, maybe not for async KPI. I don't think it's not maybe. I mean, not for async KPI, but that made me think, right? Like, what do you think about it? It's just before I share.
Um, it was a tweet, first of all.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah. I know, I know. I mean, the concept, not the tweet itself. Yeah.
and the concept, I don't have I'm not a kind of good person for Twitter, because for Twitter I would just say no, it's bad, whatever, you do it wrong. And but yeah, again, it really depends. So I know that this is the hugely popular project for PHP,
Hmm.
but I don't know, like, maybe you can tell me, maybe you know more. I refuse to learn anything about PHP. uh, Joking.
No,
Not
not
no,
really.
actually not joking. But like, there are different open source projects that
Uh-huh.
are called open source projects, like for example Minio. You have this project like Minio, where they in open build this amazing S3 alternative that you can host on premise. But there's basically a company behind it, right? Like with or Nuts, for example, there's a company behind it with their product roadmap, um, and it's different way of building community. And then I guess, like, maybe in case of Laravel,
Yeah.
whatever is the name, maybe in their case it's also the same. Like, I'm not sure if they part of some foundation or something. Like, are they really community driven? Because, like,
I
in
think there's
case
a
if you
company behind.
so if you're having a company and you're just building product in open, but at the end all the maintainers are your employees, and at the end you just have your goals, your roadmap, etc., then I guess it makes sense. I would never be happy to work in such project, but at the end, like, if you have such strategy, like that, you basically do only stuff that you think are important for the project, and if somebody wants to fix something, yeah, just create a PR. We might accept it or not. um but again,
That's what I
like
was thinking.
starting with PR, where's the place for discussion then? Like,
Yeah,
but yeah, maybe Slack, maybe somewhere else.
yeah.
So yeah, it really depends. Like, in case of async API, I can't imagine, like, it's there's no agenda on your side, on my side. Like, we know what we like to improve in async API, but it's like, if we're blocked somewhere in some repo where there are different maintainers or something, like,
Mhm.
we can't push, we won't push. So no. And also, in our case, we're even more complicated because we accept donations. Like, we have maintainers that are not related with me, with you, and, like, we can't even tell them, like, now you have to disable issues and integrate Jira or whatever. Like,
Oh, please.
so no. So basically, I can't fully say don't do such approach.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely don't do it if you have a community driven product project. That's
Exactly. That's the
that's so
point.
bad.
So there, you mentioned, like, there are many open source projects which call themselves open source, and that's fine because in the end the source is open. But and the license is probably something compatible. But there's something um, often forgotten here, which is the open governance model, right? So it's something, just because something is open source doesn't mean it has to be open governance. And I guess it has to do with this, with what you're saying. Like for instance, Laravel. I don't know Laravel. Probably Laravel is not open governance. Uh, I have no idea, to be honest. Um, probably it is, and well, in any case, he was saying like he's not doing it for Laravel, by the way. Like he's paying some people to triage issues, so they don't accumulate there, and so they're listened, and they're actually, I think the Laravel repo only has 3 issues open, something like that. It's just insane if you think about it. Just 3 issues, something like that. I read this on Twitter. I didn't check, but it's because yeah, like you have people just triaging issues, and not just triaging. You also have people implementing them, right? Um, so yeah, and maybe I don't know. Maybe some approach is that's cool. It's great feedback, but if you're not going to implement it, or if after some time nobody wants to implement it, this is closed, right? Because we understand that it's a cool idea, but it's just that it's a cool idea, right? It's not important. So, so yeah, I don't know. Like, I think it has to do a lot with open governance more than open source, right? So if you keep your like Nats, for instance, I think if I'm not mistaken, I think Nats is not open governance. If I may be wrong, I think it's a
No, it is. It is. Like,
yeah.
so I think Nuts is already
Oh
part
yeah.
of CNCF.
Oh
So
yeah,
there,
true. It was donated.
so,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so there,
True.
there is
Yeah,
path. There is a path to become
yeah,
a
yeah.
maintainer.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, yeah. True. It was donated. Yeah, true. Yeah. So then you have other projects like I don't know, like what was this search engine or this thing used
Elasticsearch.
for Elasticsearch? Yeah. So Elasticsearch is my well, they recently changed the license, so it's not really open source anymore, but not strictly open source. But the source is public, it's there, it's open, but as you cannot decide on the future, or you cannot influence the future of the of the tool, right? It's the company behind it who decides what's next, and you're just a mere um, so GitHub issues in this case is just for reporting bugs or asking questions maybe, and that's it. It's a support system in the end, just that. So yeah, and
So yeah, I mean, but yeah, like Jonas, I guess that if there's a company behind, they probably use some different tool to manage work that you can't see really. That's the thing, like Jira or whatever boards,
Sanghap,
GenHub, and but probably closed, so nobody can see the
yeah,
progress. Especially if you, again, like especially if you want to do open source, but with Scrum and etc.
yeah,
So yeah, but yeah, that's how it looks. It really all depends. There's this Nest.js, and I was recently discussing with Maciej, like because we were like checking out on Nest.js because there was a community member writing a plugin for Async API for Nest.js.
the one with S, you mean Nest?
Nest, yes,
Nest, okay,
Nest.js, Nest.
yeah,
Um, and they have pretty efficient triage of the issues, but it's yeah, I guess that they have company to run the project to get money from the project, so they are pretty like direct in the triaging. Like we're not gonna implement it, close, or no, it's not on the roadmap, like close, etc., etc. And again, like if you run a business on it, you you want to close those quickly because that's a noise. You don't want to have this noise. But if you really want to have an open project and you don't do it, like keep it longer open. Maybe somebody else will jump in, or
yeah,
at least make a suggestion, like or have a open discussion, have a meeting where people can jump in and explain why they want to have it, and not just close discussion by saying no, instead of maybe having longer discussion. But again, like it's very popular. So
yeah,
this does not affect popularity. It just affects the community aspect. But yeah, again, like to what I've learned over the past few years, looking on different projects, like you don't have to be community driven and open to the community to have a successful open source project.
No, no, exactly, exactly. That is something that we chose to do. But you don't have to. Yeah.
Yeah. But it was also the, again, another projection from the past. Like I sometimes when I'm thinking about all this past 2 years at the project, I'm sometimes have a feeling that whenever I'm trying to do some change, it's not because only for async API community, but because I'm thinking like, no, we have to do it better here. Like we have to do better than other open source projects. Like
Yeah.
I'm sometimes thinking that many things that we do at async API is because we want to show that it's actually doable, and others don't do it, but we should be the first ones that do it. So and maybe these things take effect later. But looking at the list of the technical steering committee members that is growing regularly, I think it's we're making pretty good decisions here.
And that's another thing. That's another aspect of this. Like in other projects. So for instance, I was before async API, I was mainly involved. It's not the word, but yeah, like in sync, let's say, with OpenAPI, right? And in OpenAPI, the approach was exactly the opposite. I would say it's almost the opposite as we're doing here. But with regards to the TSC, is it is like a select group of people who are uh, like, how can I say, like, it's difficult to become a TSC member, right? It is highly difficult. You probably have to be contributing there for years to get there, to become a technical steering committee member. But and that's, I mean, that's another approach. But what we're doing here is completely the opposite. It's like, no, you contribute, you're a co-donor, because you donated the tool, you're being maintaining a tool for some time already. um, that's it, you're part of the TSC now, right? Like you don't have to be super, um, like, I don't know, it's not an elitist club. That's what I mean, right? It doesn't become an elitist club. It's the opposite. It's like it's a welcoming club. It's like you want to come up, you want to come to async API, to the TSC, and so on. Cool, come with us, collaborate, contribute often, not just what your company needs, but in general, review code others are doing, maintain basically, show that you want or you can maintain a tool, and that's it. You get automatically invited, right? So the aspect of this is completely, that I have to admit that this was new to me, to be honest. I don't You follow more open source project out there than I do, but I have the feeling that we're the only ones doing this, like making it so easy to become a TSC member, and I actually like it.
Yeah, I remember when we were thinking about this model and proposing it to the community before joining Linux Foundation, and yeah, we're the first ones doing it that open, at least to
Yeah, that we know, at least.
that we
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
And again, it's one of the things that I wanted to fix because I remember like watching other projects. Like, no, it looks like some special club.
yeah.
And one issue with this kind of special club, it's not just about special club. It's again about not regular contributors.
Mhm.
So because other projects really invite only few people, they have meetings where they make decisions, and so basically the group cannot be large. Plus, you really have to be involved in the project a lot to be there,
Yeah,
and it's leaving away people that just want to contribute from time to time.
Yeah,
So
or people who are in other time zones, or
yeah,
who are not able to meet in a call with you every week, right? So yeah, or just not just time zones. They have other life stuff happening at this time, and they cannot join the meetings for whatever reason, like taking kids to school or whatever, or going out for whatever reason. So yeah.
yeah. And that was one of the motivations for the approach, that we don't make decisions on the calls, like give people time to um, watch the recording and share an opinion, and then have everything in the issue. At the beginning, I was afraid that it's gonna affect the audience of the meetings, like less people will come, but that didn't
No,
change anything. Like, so yeah.
that is that is actually, it is an evolving beast, I would say. Like, it's
We should do this discussion once a month, I guess,
yes.
because
Let's do it. I signed up for this.
it's something that like will evolve regularly.
Yeah.
But yeah, and regarding the Guardian ideas
Yeah. But
from
yeah.
the chat, community gardener. So interesting fact. So I live in a village. So obviously, one of my neighbors, he has a tractor. He's a, I don't know how you call it. So by night he's a miner. He works in a mine, in a coal mine. But by day he's a, uh, I'm not sure what's the English word. Like the guy that has a field, has a tractor and does stuff in a field. Um, I wish somebody can tell me uh, this single word in English, but I guess you get it. So basically, he has a tractor. So it's somehow related to gardening, and I love gardening. And the fun fact about Async API and gardening. So farmer, yeah, exactly, farmer. He's kind of farmer, and he loves tractors. Like his tractor is like 40, 50 years old. He's repairing it all the time, and he is in some local foundation for tractor owners. They're doing some events where there's some community events. They come with their tractors. They give people a ride. So they promote that it's not something to be ashamed of. Like, it's actually cool. I remember I had like super huge sticker on my laptop with the name of their foundation. And again, like, finish my long sentence. So I sent them some money to support the foundation, and in exchange, I have to share with the community a picture once. So they have this stand with a flag, Async API flag, that when they go to the event, like farmers event, they have the Async API flag with on the tractor. So, so yeah,
I didn't
I'm
know
really
that.
gardener.
I didn't know that. I knew that. I mean, I knew about the sticker. I saw your sticker on your
Yeah,
laptop, but yeah, I didn't know about the flag.
yeah, they have a flag, and they also have a tent, like not like a tent that you sleep in, but it's a tent with just a roof without walls, and it also has
Yeah,
like Async API logo.
yeah.
Right.
Picture, please.
I
Yeah.
have to. Like, now it's new season. It's gonna be warm. They will probably organize some events again, so
Oh, oh, true.
I'm gonna definitely share it.
Oh man, no, that's really cool. And actually, that's very cool of you that you chose to put async API and not Lukasz Gornicki there, right? Because actually it was your money.
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, I didn't have anything. I didn't have to have anything there. They just wanted to put something, and I said, like, yeah, let's do Async API. We want everyone to know about the Async API, right?
Even farmers.
I mean, in
You never
farming, there's a
know.
huge business in farming, actually.
Oh yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah. Just probably farmers are not the one using async API, but yeah. But who knows? I mean, they're users. They're end users of async API most probably, yeah,
yeah,
and they don't know. So yeah, cool, man. So we're above an hour already. So I think that's a wrap. Um, I take your comment before, so we should be doing this more often, probably once a month or something like that,
or less.
or less. Just while you're on holidays, I'll ping you every time you're on holidays. Just yeah, just so I can disturb you for no reason. So yeah, thanks a lot as always. People are now commenting, um, like Sergio is. We should build up an example of async API based on the farm as a tribute. We have street lights. We can probably have like farmland, something like that.
But actually, there's really. Do we want to keep people longer? Because there's actually really super interesting topic in regards to event driven and farms, because it's getting very popular recently when you have like huge farms and you want to harvest them when it's needed, etc., etc. Then you actually have your equipment automated. Like
Mm-hmm.
in advanced farms, you don't have even drivers; you just have machines there, and they are connected with some kind of central application that is connected with satellites.
Yeah.
So it's picking up pictures, analyzing pictures. Pictures tell you if it's okay to harvest the field. So there has to be somewhere, there have to be events floating in the system, I guess,
Oh
right?
yeah, most probably.
It's
Yeah.
IoT like hell, like so
Yeah.
async API.
Let's suggest it. And there's a last comment from Jonas saying better than paying for Twitter. Was it better than paying for Twitter ads? Like paying for this?
Don't even start with Twitter ads.
Too long didn't read. Too long didn't read. TLDR, whatever that does it mean.
I mean, you mean, but the question is in regards to sponsoring farmers, right?
No,
Instead,
in regards to Twitter ads.
no, but I mean, like his question about Twitter ads, it's comparing to the farmer ads, right? Or
Yes,
yeah. I
exactly.
mean, yeah, Twitter ads are useless and expensive. Don't do it.
The other ones at least are cheap, right?
It's cheap and it's. I mean, actually, me as a community manager, I should think like I should make a photo, tweet about it. It would have a. I mean, I bet that Twitter ad that is super expensive would not generate a traffic that the tweet with tractor and the flag would generate.
So,
So,
suggestion or challenge, like take a picture if you don't have it already, and create a Twitter ad with the picture.
and who's gonna
farmers
pay for the
farmers
ad?
now using async API. Something like that. Like this is how farmers are using async API, and it points nowhere. Just say, just for fun.
Yeah, and then I guess I can't use async API open collective money.
Nah, not most
No.
probably not.
So I can do it. Just looking for sponsors then.
Okay, I'll sponsor you. Cool, man. So again, thanks a lot for joining, and I'll ping you for another one. Thanks everyone for
Thank you.
watching,
Thanks for having me.
and see you next week. Bye bye.
Arrivederci.
Arrivederci. Let's put the outro first.